The Silva Mind Control Method. Chapter 19. Mind Control in the Business World. Imagine believing in Murphy's Law. If anything can go wrong, it will, and at the worst possible time. Then suddenly discovering that there is no such law but, instead, the cosmic bill of rights that Jose wrote about. You feel luckier because you are luckier. Many mind control graduates say this is what happens in their working lives. The salesman finds his customers more open to him. The scientist finds sudden answers to perplexing problems. The professional athlete racks up better scores. The unemployed find jobs. The employed enjoy their jobs more. When I meet with mind control graduates throughout the company, said Michael Higgins, 44-year-old Director of Employment Development at the Hoffman LaRoche, Inc., plant in Nutley, New Jersey, I find a consistent positive attitude and cheerfulness reflected in these people, and I experience this on a continuing basis. Hoffman LaRoche is one of the world's giant pharmaceutical manufacturers. This may surprise you. Coming from a manufacturer of tranquilizers, Higgins said, but we are open to alternative means of achieving better mental health, and this was one of our motivations for originally exploring Silva mind control in 1973. Another thing that motivated Mr. Higgins to investigate the course is that few of the most effective employees of any company are fully as effective as they could be. What he found at Mind Control led him to plan a pilot project that would lead initially to a company-backed program, and from there build enough enthusiasm to take off on its own. He announced the plan, signed up 50 people overnight, and turned to Reverend Albert Goraeb, pastor of a church in neighboring Patterson, who is one of Mind Control's more charismatic lecturers. The plan succeeded. Now, 3 years later, there are more than 300 graduates at the plant, top executives, scientists, secretaries, engineers, laboratory assistants, and personnel managers. Some took the course under company sponsorship, many on their own. I was particularly fascinated by the research people who took the course. At first they were the most vigorous scoffers, but they turned out to be the most enthusiastic of all, Mr. Higgins said. Here are some comments from Hoffman LaRoche's mind control graduates, published in the plant's newspaper, Inside Roche. From a merchandising director. It gave me a new sense of awareness about myself and the importance of interacting and working with fellow employees. I am applying what I learned by trying to develop the ability to channel my interests and accomplishments so there is less wasted time and motion. From an assistant biochemist, my whole mental attitude has changed. As a result, I'm convinced that good things really happen when you look at life positively. It's amazing how much warmth flows between two people when you are pleasant and tolerant of each other. From a personnel administrator, it is one of the best things that has happened to me, and I consider it a privilege to have been able to participate. The course, which emphasizes positive thinking, helped me develop an inner peace and build up my confidence. From a plant services supervisor. Mentally, I feel better. I don't worry as much or handle everything as an emergency, and I've learned to relax and control my headaches. The key to success is belief. From a senior systems analyst. Increased confidence and a general feeling of well-being are results of the course, which teaches us how to recognize parts of our nature that are usually ignored. For example, the program heightens sensitivity to other people and makes us more aware of intuitive experiences that the rational mind tends to deny. A business built from the ground up with mind control techniques is the Idea Bank, Inc., in Chicago, a co-op for mind control graduates with marketable inventions. It started when Richard Harrow, who was in charge of mind control activities in the Chicago area, posed a complex marketing problem to see if the kind of intuition sparked by alpha and theta could lead to practical answers. Mr. Harrow, with 10 years' experience as a marketing consultant behind him, already had a perfectly good answer. It had taken him 10 years to work out. Mind control graduates came up with perfectly good answers too, in 10 minutes. I pretty much expected something like this, but what I wasn't ready for was that the non-technical people did far better on technical problems than experts. They aren't locked into logic and can explore more possibilities. I had to conclude, he said, that the combined intelligence of 20 people at their level, tapping their creative imagination, is about 1,000 times as effective as the intelligence of 20 people trying to reason their way to a solution. Using the same problem-solving techniques himself, he invented and patented a new way of making pre-stressed concrete. Then mind control graduates began coming up with ideas of their own and needed marketing know-how. That's how the Idea Bank was born, he explains. Altogether, the Idea Bank, now in its second year, has 18 inventions on or ready for the market and about a score in the works. One is a leaf eater, a lawnmower attachment for making mulch of leaves. A firm which markets products by television bought 2.5 million of them. Another is an adhesive patch for torn screens. Instead of being invisible, this one catches the eye. The bug plug is colored and shaped like a bug. The company meets once a month for problem solving through meditation. Its members are those with ideas with a profit potential. They pay an initial fee plus a small monthly fee and share in the profits. Another business group founded by mind control graduates in the Chicago area is, or was, an investment club. A stockbroker thought his new ability to move backward or forward in time could be put to advantage in selecting stocks. If in meditation you see a stock in the future, buy it now and sell it in the future. The plan appealed to Mr. Harrow, and a club was formed. Mr. Harrow, the broker, and other members were enthusiastic but not quite sure. Mind control has solved a sweeping spectrum of problems but never, as far as anyone knew, the problem of accurately foreseeing the ups and downs of prices on Wall Street. With this healthy skepticism, members held on to their cash during the first 6 months of weekly trial runs. Each week the broker provided the names of 10 stocks. The members, in alpha, visualized themselves 30 days in the future. They saw themselves in a broker's office or reading a newspaper, learning how each of the stocks had done. When they returned to the present, in beta, their findings were tallied. When the vote was 1.5 to 1 in favor of a stock, a purchase was made, on paper. At the very outset, a problem cropped up. Members had to learn that cheery optimism, one of the marks of a mind control graduate, is often a poor guide to what the stock market will do. They started off seeing all the stocks rising. However, they learned quickly and were soon making hits. The group's portfolio began to do better than the market average. Another problem set in. With growing enthusiasm, the psychic investors began reading about the stocks they had selected, becoming more and more informed. They brought this objective information to their meditations and their paper profits dipped. The answer to this was to give each stock a coded number so that no one would know which stock he was psychically studying. Results improved, once again ahead of market averages. Now, with 6 months of data proving that trained psychics can outpace the stock market, it was time to put up real money. The transition from trial runs to real investing went smoothly. Members racked up real profits. When the market went down, so did their stocks, but not as much as the market as a whole. When the market rose, so did their stocks, even more than the market. However, after about a year, a bitch developed. The market went down more than up. The group's portfolio went down too, though not as sharply. Still, it was down, and the pride the group felt in outperforming the market was tempered by their losses. Any sophisticated investor will tell you that money can be made instead of lost when the market is going down. Just sell short. You sell a stock now, even though you do not have it, then buy and deliver it later after the price goes down. Perfectly legal, but this is making a profit from others' losses or, to put it another way, having a vested interest in bad news, not for mind control graduates. The club was suspended. As this is being written, the market is rising, and Mr. Harrow reports the members may start again. His interest in mind control's usefulness in business extends to sports, which, he says, is just as much a business as marketing new products and investing in the stock market. You may have heard that a number of the Chicago White Sox players took mind control. This was widely publicized in the summer of 1975, on CBS TV's 60 Minutes and NBC TV's Today Show. This was largely Mr. Harrow's doing. When the baseball season ended, he compared the players' individual scores, before mind control, 1974, and after, 1975. They all improved, most of them dramatically. Among the most enthusiastic mind control graduates are salesmen. I go into my level and visualize a successful call. The results have been remarkable. Every month I tell myself I'm going to produce X dollars, setting higher and higher goals, and I keep making them. This was said by a salesman for one of Wall Street's more prestigious firms. A vice president of a small steel company said, "I tell myself, I'm going to sell this guy, and it works. Now I'm recommending it, mind control, to my salesmen, my partners, even my children. I think everyone can benefit by it, and not solely in their work but in their personal lives as well." In terms of numbers of reports from graduates, the most impressive results are in finding new jobs. The calm self-confidence that comes from mind control training probably accounts for this as much as any other factor. The self-assurance necessary to seek out a better job, the greater ease with which the graduate conducts job interviews. These alone can turn the tide in a person's career. A photographer with a wife and 2 children suddenly lost his job, and he wrote to his lecturer, "If this had happened 5 years ago, I would have hit the closest bar with all the justification in the world of getting roaring drunk. And crying in the beer of die unemployed guy beside me. Now with mind control. Separating clouds so I could shoot aerial photos without shadows on the ground. Immediately healing dozens of cuts and bruises, and finding dozens of lost articles. Just by looking on my screen, I wasn't the least bit worried about it being able to find me another job. All I did was enter my level and I saw myself going to college, which I thought was a riot in view of the fact that I am already a college graduate. Investigation revealed, however, that I am actually eligible under the GI Bill and will make $400 for the effort, and that plus $300 from unemployment will give me $700 take home, which is $200 more than I was making when I had the job. Plus the fact that I can now peddle to AP, UPI, and magazines. Another person who recovered from a sodden job loss was a very new graduate in New York. He put in an angry phone call to Jose and said, "Now tell me about mind control." Jose calmly told him to keep working with his mental screen and other techniques. 3 days later, he called Jose in a sharply different frame of mind. He'd just landed a job paying 3 times as much as the one he lost. Perhaps the most colorful experience with mind control in business is reported by a man and his wife who open other people's safes. Here is how they do it. One of them goes psychically to the laboratory, evokes a vivid mental image of the safe and its owner, then turns back the clock and watches closely as the man opens his safe. The other, acting as orientologist, makes careful note of the numbers as they are called out. Later, in beta, the psychic pays a house call and, in beta, opens the safe for its amazed and grateful owner. The psychic, a licensed locksmith in the Midwest, is often called upon to open safes for owners who cannot recall their combination.